Okay, first of all, wakey. You had a nice relaxation session. I'm sure you're starving. Some people are munching as well. So I promise you, this is going to be quite interesting session. It's not going to be something that you had before. We're going to talk about the stress. We're going to talk about anxiety. We are going to talk about early career researchers, but this is going to be applicable to everybody, okay? Whether you're a PhD student, whether you're an MSc student, whether you're a fellow, whether you're a professor, whether you're a senior professor, whether you're a director, whether you are retired, whatever else, this set of tools that I'm going to provide you will be useful. But there is a caveat. I'm going to provide you with a set of tools. You're going to be able to build your toolbox, but it's going to be up to you how much you're going to use those tools. And whether you're going to tell me, well, this toolbox looks nice and lovely, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop it on the shelf and it's going to collect the dust. It's going to look pretty, but after a while, it's going to be covered with dust and spiderweb and so on and so on. So yes, I think we've been introduced quite well, so I don't want to brag about myself anymore. Ehsan, do you want to say anything more?
Fine.
No, let's crack on in that case. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we're going to talk a little bit about trying to understand what are the most common reasons why early career researchers are experiencing stress and anxiety. We'll also try to normalize it as well, because that's really crucial that we normalize stress and anxiety, because it doesn't happen just to you. It happens to me, it happens to anybody else. I'm the person same. I have flesh, I have blood, I have every other bits and pieces that makes me human. So I experience stress and anxiety. Ehsan experienced stress and anxiety as well. Every living thing, every living organism on this planet has stress and anxiety. And that's good. That's important. That's very crucial because it keeps us alive. That's an important aspect. Stress is there for a reason. Anxiety is there for a reason. Without it, we probably would be somewhere above or below or whatever else you want to call it. So we'll introduce a little bit of the magic, which is called the CBT. Okay, I promise I'm not going to sell any snake oil today. CBT is well-established evidence-based treatment, and as such, it's really functional, it's really working, it's really effective, but it depends on you. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it, okay? And then, oh my goodness me, somebody stole my idea before, thank you very much. Massive spoiler, we're going to practice a little bit of visualization. It's a really good grounding exercise, and we're going to find a little bit about why it is important later on. And again, we'll talk a little bit about the importance of early intervention, prevention, coping strategies, and we'll provide you with loads of resources that you'll be able to access, that me and my colleague at University of Warwick, we managed to research and work together and create a massive amount of resources that will be, hopefully, useful to you as well. Okay, everybody ready to start? Wow, that was quite... Oh, let's get on and over with this. Okay, if you say so. Okay, so why early career researchers are really vulnerable to stress and anxiety? I'm encompassing here the PhD students. How many PhD students are here? Oh, okay. How many postdocs are here? Wow. How many fellows are here? I know one. Okay, so you're all going to be vulnerable to the stress and anxiety. So this is really important to capture, to understand what is happening. We know from research that job insecurity is a massive contributor, massive precipitator of stress and anxiety. Yes, job is quite insecure, especially in current climate. Limited funding, limited budgets, limited contracts, limited employment opportunities. That job insecurity definitely can be precipitator of stress, and it can cause massive anxiety. We know that financial difficulties often are comorbid with anxiety, and they often are creating anxiety as such. Also, fixed terms contract as well. Short-term contract, 6 months, postdoc opportunity. What can you do in 6 months? What can you research in 6 months, for Christ's sake? Can you do that anything? No. You can barely do systematic review properly in 6 months' time. So, of course, that kind of instability, insecurity creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates worry. And we worry for the reason because we think the worry will help us to cope with uncertainty. We think that worry will help us to prepare us for those situations, those probabilities that we can't foresee. But because nothing bad happens from worry, we have the impression worry was helpful in preventing things from actually occurring, hence why we're stuck in this kind of vicious cycle of unable to tolerate uncertainty. Again, fixed-term contracts are really bad, and we know many research papers, many research publications are saying the same. I complete one contract, 1 year here in one place, and then I need to move to another country, to another region. I need to move from England to Scotland. I need to move from England to Australia. I need to move from England to Japan. And that kind of constant year after year creates massive pressures. You can't plan your family. You can't decide whether you're going to marry. You can't even think about mortgage. You can't even think about having dog or cat or rabbit as well. So, of course, you can't think about anything because you have job insecurity. You have fixed-term contracts and you're just running after one contract to another. And that's bad because it eventually will impact your physical health, your mental health as well. It will wear you down to the point that actually some people are saying, okay, to hell with academia, I'm going to work for industry, I'm going to work for another sector as well. People are deciding to preserve themselves. Publish and perish culture. Yes, welcome to the grind of the publications. If I don't publish enough, I'm not going to get permanent contract. If I don't publish good quality, I'm not going to get contract. If I'm not publishing low quality, I'm not going to get contract. So, that kind of constant pressure that the job is applying on you, it's taking its toll. It's affecting your anxiety, it's affecting your stress. Many people will think, oh my God, I can't sleep because I have on my mind all the time that constant things, what I need to do, what's waiting me for tomorrow. Also, high expectation versus limited support. Yes, we know that academia today is all about expectations. And if you don't meet those expectations, it's easy to be replaced by somebody else. But those high expectations often are provided with very, very limited support. So no mentorship, no supervision, no peer support. If you're a PhD student now, think about that period as an amazing period because all those support is available. But when you're postdoc, that will be very limited. And often people are saying because of lack of support and because of the lack of mentorship and lack of supervision, they can't progress, they can't learn, they can't develop. They can't get advice from anybody. So of course, people will start to feel stress. People will start to feel anxiety. Now, European Union has done something very sensible, and that is for all European research grants that you're going to apply as a PI, you need to demonstrate that you actually invested into your team's well-being, your team's development, your team's mentorship, your team's supervision. And that's the example that everybody else should follow as well. Not just to demonstrate through that kind of I done this, I done that. I need to evidence it with that kind of really proper documentation that has been done to ensure that the team is protected, to ensure that my team is growing, developing, evolving, and that they are actually ready to tackle with the research that we need to produce. Imposter syndrome, yes, all good friend. I think everybody here experiences imposter syndrome from time to time. Anybody who never had imposter syndrome here? Oh, come on, there must be at least one person who thinks that they are superb, immune, Superman or Superwoman. Nope. We know imposter syndrome is there. And the bad thing is, it's never going to go away. unfortunately. But the good news is that you will learn to be resilient, as my colleague Luana mentioned earlier on. It's really much important to build resilience so that next time when imposter syndrome kicks in, you will be able to fight it off easier, or even maybe dismiss it, or challenge that kind of need for imposter syndrome as well. And that's really much important, because I promise you, whether you reach higher level of your career, imposter syndrome will still be there. That kind of doubt, that kind of inner voice that is going to be quite critical will say, oh, boo-hoo, you didn't deserve this. Why are you trying? Go away, you don't want to do that. Everybody will judge you. Everybody will see through you. Everybody think that you're incompetent. But again, you will develop that kind of opportunity to really, really tell your imposter syndrome off. Work-life imbalance, yes. Okay, now I'm going to ask a really, really, really sensible question. How many people here believe that they have work-life balance? Raise your hand. Ooh, what that tells you? That we still have imbalance here, that we are still falling under the pressure of deadlines and sacrificing our own private lives, sacrificing our time with kids, sacrificing our time with partner, sacrificing time with family members, friends as well. So it's really crucial to establish boundaries, as Luana mentioned earlier on, and be really, really strict with the boundaries. Because, first of all, you need to invest into your self-care. You need to also ensure that you engage with the social circle that you have. And again, work-life imbalance will cause you to experience stress, to experience fatigue, to burn out, to become anxious, but also other things like low mood, depression, OCD, and social anxiety, health anxiety, as well, so on and so on. Body keeps its score, and everything that you do will affect the body. So, we know that stress is important, anxiety is important, it's part of us, and we can't escape them. Many patients come to me and say, oh, can you help me to abolish my anxiety? Can you help me to get rid of totally of my anxiety? But that's not how it works. Anxiety is there for a reason. It's an evolutionary trait designed to keep us safe. But can you imagine the situation if you're crossing the road and you don't look left and right? What will happen? You'll be hit by a lorry. You'll be hit by a car. Or something else, who knows? So that's why we have that kind of inclined need to really, really look left and right. Because our body tells us that. Keep me safe. And no, please, it's like you must keep me safe. Okay, but the problem becomes when anxiety starts to be hyperactive. And the best analogy that I can give to you that you will understand is toaster. I think you all like toast. And how many times happen that you put the toast in a toaster, you forgot about it because you were doing XYZ things aside, and all of a sudden you heard a fire alarm. That fire alarm is an anxiety. Anxiety kicked in because it thought there is a fire, but it completely forgot the fact that it was just a smoke coming from burnt toast. Yeah, some people actually like the burnt toast for some reason. How many people like here burnt toast? Okay, so it's not just Scottish thing, no? Okay. So, yes, it's really important to understand why you experience anxiety. We know that stress is as well an important aspect. But hear me now, stress is also good because it's not just bad, it keeps us motivated. If I ask you, what do you think gets you up in the morning? Most people are going to say, well, my job, my to-do list, my X, my Y, my Z. But in reality, it's anxiety, it's stress. You need low levels of stress to get you up, to motivate you. We need stress for motivation. And low levels of stress are useful. But the problem is when the stress starts to build up and become very much toxic. In that case, it's actually triggering that kind of fight or flight or freeze response. So what I mean here by fight or flight or freeze response is the way that anxiety is dealing. There are three scenarios. We can fight, we can run away, and we can freeze. So for example, if I'm walking in a forest and I bump into a bear, like not Yogi Bear, but some very much big bear, I can decide that I'm going to fight off the bear. Really? You think I will fight off the bear? Come on, people. I would run away and scream like a girl. Yes, or most likely what I'm going to do, I would freeze. I would be so paralyzed by the fear that I wouldn't be able to move a muscle. And that's what happens to deer when you're driving in the middle of the night with your headlights on, and all of a sudden you are like, oh my God, it's deer in front of me, get the hell off my way. But the deer is just like, ah. So yeah, that's what happens, but it's a normal aspect. We are just too paralyzed. We are just so overwhelmed with the fear that we can't do anything else. And that's basically when we become so much anxious, so much stressed, and that's basically when anxiety is trying to help us, to save us. But the problem is, sometimes we misinterpret the things that are overtly dangerous, even though there is no danger around us. For example, exams are a good example of that. Deadlines are a really good example of that. Pressure. How many of you are dreading conversation with your supervisor when you receive email? Oh, we should have a little bit of chat about X, Y, Z, and you're like, worst case scenario, oh my God, I'm going to end up fired or whatever else. That's where your anxiety kicks in. But it's really important to learn how to understand it. It's really important to learn that you can control your anxiety, to improve your anxiety, to manage your anxiety better. And we'll come to that. Okay, so what are the signs and symptoms that you are being impacted by the stress and anxiety? Everybody can see, I hope. I'm going to move a little bit to left and right. So usually everything starts with the thoughts. When we have a particular situation, the first thing that you will start is to think about the situation. And for example, if you experience that your paper is rejected or if your grant is rejected, the first thing that is going to come to your mind is, oh no, I'm such a failure. Oh no, I'll never do this. Oh no, this is going to be hell. Oh no, everybody will hate me for this. And of course, the more that you're thinking negatively, you'll wire your brain to be more negative. It's like, lovely green surface with a massive sign, don't walk over me. And in that situation, what you're going to do? You're going to walk over it. It's okay once, it's okay twice. But what happens to the grass when we keep walking over it? There is a path that is gradually be formed every time that we walk over that path. The same thing happens in your brain. The brain has created its own path. It's called synaptic path, where basically, oh my goodness me, you all know what synaptic paths are. You all work with synapses and axons and that kind of transmission, neurotransmission. So the same thing happens in your brain at the point where basically I walked the path so many times that that path is now well established. There is no more grass there. It's just dirt. It's just ground. And the same thing happens with negativity. If we start buying it, that what the brain is serving will become extremely negative, pessimistic. We'll start to have horrible thoughts about ourselves. We'll start to have horrible thoughts about other people. We'll start to have horrible thoughts about the future, but the rest of the world as well. There is, of course, possibility that we can go back to that lovely grass and start to really sow the seed of new grass. But the process is slow. You're not going to get grass straight away to like overnight to erect from the ground and say, oh, look at me, I'm new grass. That's not going to happen. It takes time. And it takes practice and it takes care to allow that path to be covered with the new grass that you managed to destroy. The next thing, the thoughts will impact your emotions. Yes, you'll become angry, you'll become snappy, you'll become irritable, you'll become grumpy, you'll become worried, you'll become stressed. And it will definitely, you'll have that kind of sensation that you're changing the face masks all the time. And people will notice that. At one point you're going to be normal, another point you're going to be irritable, another point you're going to be smiley, another point you're going to be, oh my God, leave me alone. So again, that will affect your emotions. And that will be evident to other people around you, especially to the ones that are really close to you. Behaviors, almighty avoidance. We tend to avoid the things that we don't like. And we think by avoiding them, we'll cope. Avoidance brings that kind of sense of relief. And if we avoid something that we don't like, that will bring a sense of relief. But it prevents us from learning that we can cope. Again, avoidance means the more we are avoiding something, more anxious we are going to become. The more we are anxious, the more likely we are going to avoid something. So the best way to deal with that is to stop avoiding, but easier said than done. Worry. I already explained why we worry, but worry is irrational. Can we predict the future? Can you tell me what will happen in 10 years' time? Oh, yes, you can. You're all fortune tellers. You're using worry. But the problem is, worry is never accurate. In most 99.99999% of times, the outcome of that worry will never fulfill itself. But we lullaby ourselves in thinking that worrying helps us to problem solve. It helps us to really understand the problem. It helps us to deal with the problem or to prevent the problem as well. Hence why we worry. And we worry a lot. How many people here worry? Come on, hands up. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me, that's a lot of warriors here. Procrastination. Oh my goodness me, yes, our dear word procrastination. We all procrastinate, yes. It's our favorite activity. Would you say so? How many of you would rather like to have a little bit of Netflix instead of being here? Most of you would. But procrastination is really bad type of avoidance, because usually that means we are delaying, we are postponing the things for tomorrow. I mean, for people who really like, I don't know, house chores, there is that famous procrastination that is ironing. Oh my God, I hate ironing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell myself I'm going to do any possible chore, but just not ironing. But I'll do the ironing tomorrow. And guess what? Tomorrow I come and I tell myself, oh yeah, I need to do ironing. And guess what? A new pile of washing comes out and I'm like, I can't deal with that pile of washing, which becomes like a Ben Nevis. So I tell myself, okay, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And do you think that pile of washing is ironed? Nope. That's what procrastination is doing. But there is one even better. When we're procrastinating and also providing ourselves that kind of justification, a rational. Well, I'm supposed to do writing, the new grant or the new paper, but I can't be bothered doing that. So I'm not going to procrastinate, I promise you. But instead I'm going to read a new literature review. I'm going to read the papers. Oh, I'm going to be productive. I'm going to be super duper productive. But is that procrastination? Yeah, because we were supposed to prioritize and work on the writing, not the reading. So that's also how procrastination can be quite tricky. It can be quite trickster in that kind of aspect. And of course, pressure, stress, anxiety, they all start to take a toll of you. And we start to adopt that kind of coping mechanisms. The short-term coping mechanisms that we think, oh, if I do this once, I'll be fine. If I do this twice, I'll be fine. But we need to adopt long-term coping strategies instead of short-term coping strategies. What I mean by short-term coping strategies, alcohol. We know alcohol is not very helpful because it really puts us in that kind of frame of mind. Oh, well, I'm going to forget about the problem, but hey, the problem is still there. Hello, I'm still here, you can't get rid of me. So yeah, it's really important to understand alcohol will just mask the problem, but the problem is still going to wait you there. Similarly, smoking, vaping, sex, clubbing, whatever else, it's not going to remove the problem for you. You're the only one who can take control of that problem and deal with the problem. And ultimately, everything goes back to your body. Body keeps its score. You're going to start feeling the heart racing, body aches, you're going to feel muscle tensions, you're going to start feeling very fatigued. Some of you may start experiencing insomnia, inability to sleep, waking up too early or waking in the middle of the night. All those are typical associations with too much stress, too much anxiety going on. And that's where the CBT comes in. Trying to understand cognitive behavioral therapy is really important because we know that cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most researched therapies out there. NICE guidelines suggested, Scottish Matrix, Scottish Sign also recommended as a first-line intervention, first-line treatment. That can be administered by yourself, but also it can be administered by a professional. And usually, we know that there is quite a lot of that kind of evidence that supports that CBT is really good, effective tool that can really help to alleviate stress and anxiety if it's done properly, i.e. if you are really adamant of doing it, if you're really active in putting the things in. So, how CBT works? CBT works by telling you that there is a situation, there is a trigger that triggers a particular set of responses. And those responses are, first of all, your thoughts. And everything starts with your thoughts. And those thoughts are affecting emotions, emotions are affecting your behaviors, and behaviors are affecting your physical sensations. And, funnily enough, physical sensations will affect more thoughts. So you're ending up spiraling further down and down and down the drain, because everything is interconnected here. So, many people are thinking, oh, I can control this. I can control X, Y, Z. But in reality, how many things do you feel that you can control in this lovely planet? Not much. You can just control two things, and that's your thoughts and your behaviors. Everything else, unfortunately, is out of your control. You can't control your body because if body wants to go to sleep, body will go to sleep. If you are starving and hungry, body will protest it. You can't do anything about it. So again, the thoughts, you can control what you're thinking. You can control how you're behaving. And that will be an important aspect, that you can do something about it. Let's just use this example of how that works when grant is rejected. So, my grant is rejected and I have the first thought, I'm failure. And that basically kicks the worry. I start to feel very anxious. I start to feel very stressed. And I start to avoid writing because I just can't cope with it. When I see the writing, I'm just like having massive heart trying to jump out from my chest. Sensation that I have a ball in my throat. I have massive headaches. I can't sleep. And because of that, I start to have more thoughts that this will never end. I'll lose my job, I'll be homeless, I'll never do this ever again in my life. And you can see how this can spiral out of control, very simply. What we can do? Well, we can do some things. We can learn how to attack these negative automatic thoughts that are happening. We can challenge them. We can put them to trial. We can try to find evidence, factual evidence for and against them. We can try to tackle behaviors. We can try to tackle avoidance. We can pause and reflect. That's very much important. To think about the things instead of worrying to try to understand. Can I observe the problem from a different angle? Can I look at left, right, center? Maybe something else will trigger my imagination. Mindfulness is also very important. Try to be present at the moment, because we know we are not really present people. We tend to be stuck either in the past or we tend to be orientated towards the future. But the problem is we don't live in the present. How many of you actually are paying attention to your food that you had this morning for breakfast? How many of you, 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, not much, not many. It's important to pay attention to the food that you're eating, what the texture it is, how it tastes, how it smells, how it feels. But most of us, we don't tend to do that. We just tend to be greedy goblets and just like, oh, everything in a single go. And also it's important to seek the support. Like, support can come in many forms, like friends, family, colleagues, but also professionals, GPs, talking therapists, CBT therapists, also very quirky psychologists as well. We all quirky a bit. Is that Luana? Is that right? Am I right? Yeah, there we are. So, the first thing that we can do, and that is to deal with our thoughts. So we need to identify the thought that we're experiencing. And that basically requires a little bit of mindfulness as well. We need to understand, first of all, what triggered that particular thought, why that thought is there. Then when we identify that particular thought, we know that we can try to rationalize it. Like, we can try to find evidence for that. For example, I will never get this grant accepted. I know that I'm catastrophizing here. I know that I'm future predicting here. So to me, I know that this is thinking trap and that I'm just catastrophizing. I've done this before. I can do it again. It's just bad period, bad luck, or whatever else. So I need to replace it. I need to balance this negative thought more. And the way that I can balance it is through something which I like to call correlation. The goal is not to bring the correlation from negative -1 all the way to positive 1, but instead to bring it more towards 0, where it's neutral. So we are not aiming to deceive ourselves or create that kind of deceptive thoughts. Oh, everything will be super duper tomorrow. But the goal is, I've done this before, I know I can do it. It's just a mishap, or it's just one slight mistake. And we are humans, we're going to do many mistakes. I do mistakes all the time. And it's a human thing to do mistakes. Again, this is just something which is called triple R. Very easy to implement. Recognize, rationalize, replace. Any negative thought that you have in your brain, in your mind, it will be useful. Alternatively, you can put your thoughts to trial. Yes, you can take the wig on, act as a judge, act as a jury, act as prosecution, and find the evidence for the thought, and find the evidence against the thought. And then decide whether the thought needs to go to prison or not, whether the thought needs to be executed or not. You have that power. Yes, so challenging your negative thoughts is really important, but this is not going to be easy thing. Many people think this is going to be amazing, like so simple. It's simple theoretically, but when you start doing it in practice, it requires a degree of practice. So don't get your hopes this is going to be super duper easy. I can do it instantly. There is no quick fixes. You need to work on yourself. Behavioral activation is the best way to tackle your avoidance. The thing that you don't want to do, you can do it through the behavioral activation. What that means is try to schedule that kind of small, manageable things that are balanced with more enjoyable or pleasurable things, but also be mindful of those kind of routine, necessary things as well. So how that works, like we all know we tend to do to-do lists. Try to create a balance of the things that are routine, like hygiene, teeth brushing, eating, having coffee, having more coffee. And then try to tackle something which you really need to. Like, for example, I need to do writing. And then after, you need to reward yourself with something pleasurable. It can be another coffee. It can be a walk in a park. It can be something that you really do enjoy and something which is really creating that kind of sense of enjoyment in you. Or it can be a run as well. It can be the gym or whatever else you like. And then rinse and repeat. Something routine that needs to be done, like answer email. Then something necessary, continue with writing the grant. And something pleasurable, well, maybe chat with a friend, having a coffee with a friend this time again. Yeah, I didn't drink too much coffee. Yes, so you can break your things in small, manageable steps. Think about your to-do list. If you notice something that you keep postponing, keep putting for another day, that's a sign that something is wrong there. That's a sign that something you are avoiding either to tackle or is just massive. Okay, so I would like to ask you now to picture in your mind big pink elephant. Or you can picture Dumbo maybe. Do you have Dumbo in your mind? Okay. How would you eat a Dumbo in a single go? Would you be able to swallow it all?
Try.
You can try. Wow, okay, I would love to see that. Please send me the video or something of you trying that. But a good try, thank you though. Can we eat a whole elephant in single go? No, we can't, but what we can do? Oh goodness me, people have here horrible ideas. Chop the Dumbo to bits and pieces. Well, you're not that far off, to be honest. I can see in your brains and your minds, you already have that kind of horrible scenarios. Chainsaw, axe, picks, whatever else. Poor Dumbo. So the point of this story is, please don't kill Dumbo for the love of God. Don't eat elephants, people. Elephants are not for eating. The goal is to chop down your difficult things into those more manageable things. Okay? If something is long, you need to chop it down to the smaller things or medium difficulty things. And then, when you recognize this is hard, I need to chop that even further down. So, we know, can we write a thesis in 7 days? We know we can't. Can we do the PhD in a year? No, we can't. The reason why we're doing the PhD in 3 or 4 years is because we need to chop that into the manageable milestones. For anybody who thinks I can write a PhD in 7 days, good luck with that. It took me 6 months to write the first draft. So again, give yourself that kind of manageable things to do. Don't overwhelm yourself thinking, I can do this in a really short amount of time. It's not realistic. Ask yourself, is this realistic that I can do? And that will help you to stop avoiding things. Breaking things down will be very much helpful. 5-minute rule is also what's helpful. I'm using it now. Even if I don't want to do something, like me talking right now in front of you, I'm going to do for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, I still feel same. Well, I'm going to take a break, have a coffee. Did you notice me having a break, having coffee? I forgot about the time. So that's a solution. Tell yourself, I'm going to do things for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, if I feel the same, break will be taken. I'll have tea, I'll have coffee, I'll have biscuit. And after that, I'll come back to it and do it for 5 minutes more. The trick here is that people forget about the time. People always forget about the time. And time flies fast. Very fast, to be honest. When you are focused, when you're concentrated. And when you're not, it's going to take forever. 5 minutes will be eternity. Sad but true. Motivation. Many people think motivation will come. I can lie in a bed for 1,000 years and wait for motivation to come. Well, motivation is never going to come. Motivation always comes when you start doing things. So remember, remind yourself action before motivation. Otherwise, you're going to spend your eternity waiting for it, and it's never going to come. Okay, that brings us to the lovely grounding. So in order to deal with our emotions, we tackled by now, so far, the thoughts and behaviors. Now we're going to tackle your emotions and your physical sensations, because we need to break that vicious cycle for ourselves. And this is a really good way of doing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can touch, 3 things that I can hear, 2 things that I can smell, 1 thing that I can taste. It's so simple, straightforward. When I'm doing the dishes, I can do this. For example, I can ask myself what 5 things I can see. I can see the plates in front of myself, and I'm really going to try to think about what color they are, what the size, what the shape. 4 things that I can touch. I can touch the water, I can feel the temperature, I can touch the bubbles, I can feel the bubbles. I can touch the sponge and feel that kind of squidginess. 3 things that you can hear. Well, I can hear the splashes, I can hear kids in background, I can hear the dog barking. 2 things I can smell dishwash liquid. It has nice cherry lemon smell. I can smell the flowers next to me as well. And 1 thing that I can taste, well, whatever you do, please promise me don't try to taste dishwash liquid, it's disgusting. But you can have a piece of chocolate or you can have a candy, or just to give you that kind of sensation of the taste. What this tends to do, it tends to overwhelm your brain with so many stimuli at the same time. And the brain is always prioritizing interpretation with stimulation from environment rather than worry or being anxious or being stressed or continuing with that kind of negativity, negative thoughts as such. So the rule here is engage all your senses in order for you to help yourself, to stabilize yourself, to ground yourself in the present moment. And this is really much helpful. Remember, there is a famous saying from Eleanor Roosevelt: yesterday's history, tomorrow's mystery. That's why we call the present a gift. Because when we ground in the present moment, nothing bad is happening to us. Everybody's feeling safe right now, isn't it? But when we start thinking about the things that we need to do tomorrow, we'll change that. We'll trick our body thinking into that kind of fire alarm mode. Oh my goodness me, I feel already unsettled. I feel already my heart is racing. I feel I'm sweating just because I know that tomorrow I need to do something. But ultimately, it's now that we forget to live in. So, I would like to ask you, close your eyes now. Yes, come on. Nothing bad is going to happen to anybody. Close your eyes. Come on, cheeky, I can see you're peeking through. Okay, so imagine yourself now in some particular pleasant memory. It can be a lovely beach, it can be meadow, it can be the sea, it can be any kind of nice memory that you had. Visualize it, very much visualize it, and try to identify 5 things that you can see. But really try to identify, describe yourself, 5 things around you. Now imagine 4 things that you can touch. Describe that kind of sensation. Really try to feel it. 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. Try to remind yourself about something that's really yummy, tasty, how that tastes. And wakey. There you are. How are you feeling now? Do you feel more relaxed? No? Yeah, it's very helpful, especially when you feel overwhelmed. It will definitely help you to ground yourself. It's tricking the brain in thinking that you're there. It's like if you're watching Star Trek, it's a holodeck for poor people. You know, that kind of, instead of living in that kind of environment, we're going to just imagine it in our heads. So, yeah, it's the same thing. But it's doing the trick. The brain actually buys it. Brain believes that we're actually there where we had that kind of thought. So yes, this is really helpful. Okay, so try to incorporate a little bit of this kind of breathing, where you can simply use that kind of box breathing thing where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold the breath for 4 seconds. That can help you to calm your body. It helps also to calm your nervous system down as well. So you can incorporate this into your calendars. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a time to relax during the workday. 5 minutes is more than enough to prepare yourself before the meeting or to prepare yourself before presentation. You can definitely help yourself to relax before any kind of major things that are happening. Gratitude journaling. How many people here end up in a bed with their phones? And there you are, a lot of people. And the first thing in the morning that we tend to do is the phone again. Instead, why not embrace relaxation first thing in the morning? Breathing, visualization, or asking yourself, what good am I going to do today? But also reflect in the evening, what good thing did you do actually? What did you miss to do? What could you improve the next day? That's something that will help you to grow and develop. Digital boundaries. Yes, I think Lana was definitely to the point by saying that we need boundaries, but we are really bad with that kind of pushing the boundaries when it suits us. We like to move the boundaries. We need to test the boundaries. We like to expand the boundaries. But when you're firm with your boundaries, anything nice can happen. If you tell yourself, I'm going to check 3 times a day emails, and even if something is urgent, I'm not going to reply until next batch of time is there. So 9, 12, 5. That's the period that I'm going to check the emails. Everything else, forget about email. Focus the attention on your productivity. Because we know concentration is limited. People can establish 25 minutes concentration, that's about it. After that, concentration goes down. So concentration is really useful, especially for the moments when you're writing something. And when you're preparing grants, when you're preparing articles or journals, whatever else, you need concentration. Also, social support is useful. We need check-ins. During the pandemic, we saw how bad we are isolated or not having that kind of social support around ourselves. So provide support to other people, seek support from other people as well. And that's really useful. And that's part of this kind of 5 pillars of well-being. We need to connect with other people, but also take a notice as well. You need to be mindful of other people, how other people react, how other people emotionally feel. But also take notice of things like, I don't know, walk in a park, see that the trees have changed colors. How many times have you noticed that recently? Not much, huh? That the trees bloom, that the grass is less green because of the heat or anything like that. Give your time, volunteer, help people, help mentor other people as well, supervise other people. That's all going to bring you that kind of sense of satisfaction. You can give a smile as well. What's it going to cost you if you give a smile to a stranger? For example, hello you. I presume now this lovely lady is thinking, oh my God, this creep is giving a smile. What the hell does he want? But giving a smile to people is just nice. But unfortunately, we start to really demonize it. You can give to Tesco checkout lady, and some even older population is always complaining that the smiles that they get from the people at Tesco checkouts or any other checkouts, that's the only nice things that other people are giving to them. They're not giving them time, they're not giving them conversation. So you can do something just to give random stranger a smile. Or you can give a compliment as well. Actually, the photographer here complimented my outfit. I was like, thank you very much, you made my day today. Keep learning. It's also important. Keep your brain active. Learn a new language. Learn a cooking skill. Learn how to bake. You'll occupy your brain with other things. And be active. Yes, it's really important to be active because we know in healthy body there is healthy spirit. In healthy body there is healthy psychology. In healthy body there is healthy mind. Mind and body are interconnected. There is no physical health without mental health. There is no mental health without physical health. So remember that. and when to seek further help. So it's really important to know that if you are feeling really stressed, anxious for 2 weeks without break, every day is constant battle, every day is constant dread, every day is filled with so much anxiety that you can't cope, that's a sign that you need to speak to somebody. And don't delay, because early intervention and prevention is really crucial. And you need to really ensure that you are seeking intervention or support early on, because otherwise you're risking your thing to become chronic condition, okay? People are already here yelling at me, you need to get the hell out of here. So I'm going to pass now to my colleague who is going to tell you a little bit more information.
So I am trying to wrap up the things very quickly because I have less amount of time to continue. But so I love this screen because I can cheat it on that. So for the, I think the PhD is the main level for any careers if you want to continue for postdoc or become an academic one day. And in my idea, if you could work on your knowledge and training, it's very important because in future, as my colleague said, you don't have any much support than compared to your PhD. So you need to develop your knowledge and skill in future by your own. So it's the PhD level is very important and make you need to make it stronger. So for that one, you need to find a better or a supportive supervisor. And in my idea, instead of finding a strong or famous supervisor, in my idea, you need to find someone who you can work with, or he or she can work with you. Because if you couldn't build a professional relationship between you and your supervisor, then you cannot understand each other. And then after that, you start fighting each other. And then its effect on your mental health, worrying about your career in future, worrying about your for example, PhD or postdoc, and all things happens based on your relationship with your supervisor. In order to build a good, future opportunity for yourself, you need to find someone who can support you, because in PhD, at least we know is a period of time that we know that what's the starting point, what's the ending point. But in postdoc, we don't know anything. It's full of uncertainty. And based on these uncertainties bring you stress, anxiety, and lots of things, mental health. So in order to prepare yourself and in order to have a less issue in your postdoc or in your early career fellows, you need support based on your supervisor or at university support. And these kinds only happening if you can find it. And if you can find someone you can work with and be successful, is much better than to work with the famous people and you cannot work with, or he or she cannot work with you. I think that is a mutual understanding of two people that make your career more secure. For example, I have a friend who has is a very anxious, and I can say that it's some issue with her mental health. She tried 4 times to work with different supervisors in her PhD time, and she couldn't finally get her PhD, and just a few MPhils and then gone. And she said that, no, I'm thinking that the supervisor cannot support me. They are just all selfish, for example. And I said, no, it seems that something is not working after 4 times or 3 to 4 times try. It seems that you need to step back and work on your mental health, because this is not PhD, not necessarily means that you have you don't have any knowledge or any mental ability or talent. This is part of that is how to manage yourself based on your stress and anxiety, and how you could find any build a relationship with your colleague, with your supervisor. Otherwise, you cannot be successful. And this is very important for people to know themselves and also understand these kind of things to be successful. And for some process for early career fellows, I think some kind of activities or training will be successful for this, have a sense of satisfaction, like, for example, teaching, or get some fellowship on teaching, because when you are teaching, you also put yourself in a kind of supervision, and you can understand the difficulties of this section. So it's helped you to understand people. I think it's mostly early career fellows is a kind of starting a loop. If the supervisor could support you on the mental health, and if you can pass this process and to become a supervisor, so you will understand in a good quality of the mental health. And because if you have some issues with your, for example, supervisor or in academic career, then in future you will project your negative thinking to others. So in my idea, if we could shrink this closed loop, then we can have a more healthy academic conditions in future for anyone. So for supporting ecosystems in research environments, we need more than before focusing on research culture or about mental health, because these days we have a much more competitive situation. For example, applying for a research grant, for a job opportunities. So all these things happening make people more anxious and worrying about their future. So in my idea is we need to have some social activities in our job in order to make everything softer or smoother, because we cannot solve the anxiety and stress, and we cannot say that, okay, we use this medicine and we finish everything. So it's not possible. And but the research, for the mental health help us to think properly to our work, to build our future, because we cannot, control some of the things. For example, if the grant rejected, this is not in our hands. But the hope, the mental health help us to reserve the hope in order to continue again and being successful for another time or try. So this will help us to understand properly about our situation. And these kind of activities help us to help other people based on the sense of satisfaction and understanding the situation, and make a warm place to people understand that, yes, early career fellows will need more time and need control their emotions, anxiety, or stress. And also, I think in the department, for example, in University of Warwick, in Department of Chemistry, we have a postdoc forum, and it's helpful for postdocs, because like-minded people start speaking with each other and try to help, or try to have some workshop for writing the grants and or some fellowship applications. But this, I think, networking will helpful, because people can understand each other and trying to help each other in order to have some positive achievements for their early careers. So I think these kind of activities will help for the make a supportive situation or supportive environment for postdocs. Yes, this is, I think, the well-being under pressure. I think some early career fellows, even some PhD students, especially the international one, that they're coming from different cultures, different conditions, always in, at least at the beginning of their entrance to their, for example, in UK or any other countries that they face with loneliness because they're living with their families, friends, and then suddenly come out from that society or network to somewhere that they don't know anyone. Or it's very, even, for example, learning the English, when they start to talking to people, they think that maybe they don't know anything, and they start learning, they start about understanding the people until find some friends or networking. All these things needs time for them. So there are mainly things that they are into the loneliness, and this increase the worrying or concern about their future and well-being. So this is very important for people to understand that, how to manage themselves in the new culture, and they could find more potential at their career, work, or with their colleagues. So this is very important for, as I said, that is, for example, when for PhD and postdocs also both, the visa procedure very important for them, because sometimes with any government or any, after a few years, it's effect on them that the rules and policy will change, and then they need to follow up that. So for international scholar, from when they applying until to start their job, it's a big process with the stress and anxiety and uncertainty. So this is a big issue that some CPT work, or even sometimes the university has some supportive program of well-being service for helping the students to come before coming to university, and after that just they want to start. It's kind of like welcoming or something that they will help them to continue their work. Oh, thank you. It's finished my...
So just for everybody, there is quite a lot of resources available out there. There is quite a lot of help available too. This is just some of example, but if you flip forward, Ehsan, we've done a research that basically is talking about postdoc mental health and well-being, and there's really lovely resources that you can access about how to look after yourself, how to help yourself. There is podcasts, there is videos, there is presentations. Similar we have for PhDs, if you flip on the next one. There is for supervisor, there is also for the staff as well, how to support the mental health and well-being of the PGRs or early career researchers too. So again, you have so much tools, but ultimately it's up to you to decide whether you're going to use them or not. Thank you.
I was going to say, if you're happy, we can share the slides.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
of
we'll
course,
share the
yeah.
slides around so you'll have all the resources.
Yeah. Okay.